Okay. So this is a comeback factor tier list. I was thinking about making this today. Everybody. Well, not everybody, but like, there's not a lot of characters that have a comeback factor in Ultimate. It's just that I was talking about it with T today. I think the person I'll be watching this with Dathan, maybe Sonny, and maybe Alex if I ever can get him over to the house again. So these are every characters that have a comeback factor and where I put them and why. This is how easy they are to get, how much they make an impact in the match, and uh, I mean, I was gonna say how consistent they are, like how consistently you can get them, but it changes for every game because you can get your comeback factor and die. You can like I don't know take a whole game with it. I don't know. I know I have all of the comeback factors on my left here. Nobody can see it because it's on my phone. But I'm gonna go in the order I choose. So first character who I was thinking about. Where are you? Where are you at? As soon as I find him, I will. Okay, here he is. So low max comeback factor. So here's the thing about it. Uh, First of all, I feel like it's a little inconsistent just because you have like a bar to fill up. It's kind of like Joker's thing, but it's worse because I think it's every time you get hit and every time you deal a hit. So the problem for me with it is, first of all, Lil Mac as a character is already underwhelming as it is, but on top of that, the move itself is it's too laggy. Like if you do it off stage, like if you get somebody at the ledge, there's a possibility you just die because it puts you in such a long animation. I mean, of course, you could just land at center stage and be perfectly fine and continue your stalk like nothing ever happened. But if your opponent's at the ledge and they don't want to move from the ledge because they're scared because you have KO punch, you know, and you decide to down tilt KO punch them there at the ledge, you possibly just put yourself in a position to die. And I feel like just getting it is too inconsistent because, well, this is every comeback factor, but I feel like Lil Mac just getting tapped once and just possibly losing it, just sucks for him. Um, so yeah, there's that one, and then based on the list I have now, I kind of have to agree. I might move this in time. Maybe I'll move it up to here, B tier, as I'm thinking about it. But I, hmm, so Lucario's I don't know if it's necessarily a comeback factor because I guess I mean you can technically say it is because the more you lose, the more you have a better chance of killing your opponent. I guess you could say, but the fact that it enhances every single one of his moves, just like some other things, some other comeback factors, make me want to push the B tier, which is what I'm gonna do actually. I think there's a gap between having one move that's gonna kill you at 40, or the fact that you can get to like 100 with this character and your match can snowball so bad for your opponent if you just keep landing the right hits. But again, you could say that about so many things that it's a little inconsistent. But yeah, but I feel like Lucario could definitely snowball really effectively if long time Lucario player or like any Lucario main who's been playing the game for over a year, I guess. But again, that's you could say that about almost any of the comeback factors. Next one I have in mind. Where are you? I think I saw you the first time I looked through here. Am I tweaking? I know he's on this list. He's a character in Ultimate, so he has to be. Where the hell are you? If I don't find him, I'm gonna skip over him for the time being. He should be clear as day to see. I mean, he's not like. Yo, I think I'm losing my mind. Okay, well. Oh, wow, I am retarded. um, so this is the one I would put in the C tier personally. is just because Waft is only really good in the last stock. I'm sorry, but if you do Waft at any other time that isn't last stock, first of all, the move is underwhelming and weak. Like, I think the move has armor if I'm not wrong, but even then, like, because it needs to stall with time. Even I guess if you eat your bike or I guess there's like projectiles on the stage that the character could eat. More than likely, Waft isn't going to be really good till the second stock, assuming that the character ate a bunch of things or a lot of time has passed, you know. But just having one move that you have to combo into. By the way, they nerfed the combo. Not saying you can't get it no more, but it's a little harder to get. Um, to me, it just doesn't seem as good. You can't up tilt Waft as consistently as you could pre-patch. But I still think Waft is a good comeback mechanic. The character is heavy, has a bunch of great moves, a ton of survivability, has a pretty decent recovery. Um, so yeah, I mean, if Waft was just not only good in the later part of the game, I would probably play it up to A tier. If he had a good Waft every stock, the character would be way more broken. So I'm very glad that he is where he is. I actually, Wario is one of the characters I don't mind fighting. It's just he's so weird to fight against because I never fight him. But anyway, there is one, two, three, four, five characters will come back mechanics left. So I'm going to go do. I'll do Rage Drive. Rage Drive is a solid A tier. It's essentially just a better Waft because Waft, you have to wait. Like I said, you have to wait the whole game to essentially get one really powerful move. By the way, if you're down 1 to 3 stocks, or you're on your last stock and your opponent still has 3 stocks, I think I said it right the first time. And you use the Waft just to get that stock to possibly see if you can outplay him in neutral the last 2 stocks. I feel like that's a mistake on your part, but again, this is just my opinion. But essentially, Rage Dive is just a better Waft because you get it every stock. You get it every stock as long as you live till 100, which again, Kazi is the same thing as Wario, where he's really heavy, has a lot of survivability. He has a great up B. I think Kazuya's up B is one of the best up Bs in the game. He already has one of the best moves in the game. He has just really, really solid move sets. But anyway, so they gave him an infinite armor move where you can't shield it. It beats out every other move in the game. Sorry, my nose was like stuffy. And it kills at absurd percents. Like, I can't even tell you what percent I've seen characters die at. Just like a fox rushed down Kazuya all game. Kazuya, took 2 of his stocks. They're on last stock. You get Rage Drive. I'll say, I might over exaggerate / under exaggerate. Let's say 30-40-ish, and you get slammed into like the ledge. You might die as Fox or a lot of characters actually. I won't start scaling up to the super heavies and stuff. But I will say there's a lot of characters that if you don't have good DI, which you could say about any move, if you don't have good DI and your character doesn't have good weight, you are probably just gonna die because of how powerful this move is. So the non-input variation does 33 point something, and then the input variation does 40% clean, which I think is absurd. Doing 40% with one move that is damn near unchallengeable is insane. But I will say there is one drawback of Rage Drive. It is essentially kind of like Lil Mac, where I'm not gonna say you can be hit one time and you'll lose it. Well, you can, but you have to be hit by a really powerful attack. But if you just miss the move, like a lot of times, like of course I make it sound like a really oppressive move. I have this crazy strong comeback mechanic, like what, and it's a command grab too, so you can't shield it. What are people gonna do about it? Well, they can zone you out. If Samus doesn't want to engage with you, and everybody just says Kazuya's reflector is overrated or bad, underrated. I don't know what people say nowadays. I think it's underrated just because it's the strongest reflector in the game. The problem is that the move has like crazy long startup. I think Dathan, if you're the one watching this, you might think I'm crazy. Well, even if you think I'm crazy, Riddle said it, and I'm taking the world's best Kazuya over your opinion every day. So, yeah, Rage Drive is just too good. And I don't know if somebody thinks Rage Drive is bad, you haven't fought a really good Kazuya. I'll say that. Anyway, the next one I see that this list I have pulled up is actually a video from another YouTuber because I looked them up because I didn't remember every comeback mechanic in the game myself. So where is he at? I was looking at him earlier. Here. Sorry, I don't see how limit is apparently I'm not gonna say what they had it at. I think this person over/slash underrated limit, but I'm gonna give my opinion on it. So I think limit is really good. The problem with it is that sometimes it's not even a comeback mechanic, and that's what I'm gonna say about someone else too. By the way, um, it's not a comeback mechanic. I mean, it kind of is. You know, if you're getting your ass whooped, you know, limit gives you extra speed, extra damage, extra weight, and it gives you access to three very powerful attacks. And it's not one of those mechanics you can beat out of the character. You have to wait 15 seconds, or the character has to use that move. So you can beat Cloud all to hell, but it doesn't mean anything as long as he lives the hits. Especially with limit up B, he has a fantastic up B with that. Um, but anyway, I don't I don't see how it could be the best comeback mechanic in the game. Just because if Cloud's in advantage state and you get it, it is just a lot tougher for your opponent. Because again, now you're faster, you're heavier, you hit harder, and now you have access to a down B that kills at absurd percents. Side B is really strong, and then up B is just an even better outer shield option. So I don't know. I think Limit is really, really good, but I think the comeback mechanics I'm gonna put above it are better with their due reason. But I'm not at the S tier yet. Sephiroth. Yeah, you're the one I want to talk about next. Wing. Wing is, to me, I'm gonna say underrated. So I don't really see, like, I'm a part of Smash Rage, and I watched Nairo, one of the like biggest Sephiroth memes ever. I haven't seen enough wins due to Wing. Then again, okay, I don't watch Sephiroth like that. Let's just get that clear out the wind. I don't care for this character. He was a filler DLC to me. I don't care for him. I didn't know what game he came from. I didn't know anything about him. He came to the game, he was unique. He has a reflectable counter, which is crazy. But the things that it does for him, again, I could just be wrong, but I don't think they do anything really over the top. So every character in the game, except for like a handful, have a double jump. Basically, he gets a triple jump. So yes, you can just edge guard a little bit easier. But aside from that, like, I don't really see what else you're gaining. I guess, yeah, you can recover a little bit better now too. And your moves gain armor. But the character doesn't have amazing frame. They have to take advantage of that armor. He is very light. So I feel like, also, the fact that you get wing faster every stock, that means that you could potentially lose it every stock faster because, again, if I think I've already said this, but if you're on your last stock and somebody still has 3 stocks and you take their stock, I'm pretty sure when you take their stock, you lose wing. So you're not gaining that wing for the extra 2 stocks. That's, so I don't know. I think wing is great for what it does. The character can now armor through moves. He already has great smash attacks. He has great aerials, even though it doesn't give his aerial armor. So I don't know why I'm mentioning it, but I am mentioning it because you can apply a lot of heavy offstage pressure with the triple jump. So if you like back air twice and you miss it, and your opponent still needs to get the ledge, you still have another jump to nair, up air, back air, down air, whatever the hell you want to do. So that's why I put it in this tier. It's good. It has its uses, and to me, it seems like Kazuya's thing. Like Kazuya, as soon as he hits race drive, it's gone for that stock. Same thing with this. As soon as you hit it, you lose it. But I don't know the exact conditions. I have seen people kill with wing, and they kept the wing a bit longer, so it could. I'm not gonna say be better than rage drive, but it could provide a bit more use than rage drive. Rage drive is just the one move that you want to hit. But anyway, I'm just gonna put the last two um in the S tier, who I believe rightfully belong there. Where is he at? I've scrolled past him like 100 times and I keep seeing him. He was getting on my nerves. You. Yeah. So according to the list, these are the only characters in the game with the comeback factor. I'm gonna talk about these two, and then I want to talk about something else. So Terry and Joker. These two characters are really, really powerful, and to me, Joker Joker to me isn't even necessarily a comeback mechanic. It kind of is because he does get it faster when he's losing than if he were to be in advantage state. But remember when me and Isai were talking, this is a character who can get a comeback mechanic when he's not in disadvantage. So if you're already applying heavy pressure to your opponent, and then you get Arsene, bigger hitboxes, stronger hitboxes. They gain other hitboxes, like Joker's down there. Pre Arsene is one swipe. Now it's a meteor effect that true combos into his up smash. So yeah, this character gains a better slash worse up B. It's invincible, so it's better, I guess, in longevity, or I can't think of the right word. It's better and worse. It's easier to two frame, but if your opponent, I don't know, if your opponent tries to edge guard you and misses because of the invincibility that Arsene gives you, it's just a free up B to ledge at that point, essentially. But not only that, but Joker already is better than every character here. You can say whatever you want, but if people can say whatever they want. So again, if you look at the tier list, so the only character that has a comeback factor in the game, in the S tier, is Joker. So not only is he beat 90% of the cast, he'll struggle with Pika, he'll struggle with Pichu because they're small, hard to hit characters, or Diddy, but he is a counter off stage, so he can counter people's recovery. He already has amazing frame data. Like I don't know what they were thinking, giving him like the frame 4, frame 5 back air. By the way, I think it's with or without Arsene, or just the hitbox in general. His back air is bigger than him himself. He's throwing out moves that are bigger than the character. That's not like an explosion or a magical item. Because you could say, oh, well, Sephiroth has neutral beat. Yes, of course, a giant explosion is going to be bigger than the character. But I'm talking about a back air that's super safe on shield. You could do 2 before you touch the ground. It's amazing at edge guarding. Arguably, I'm not going to say it can carry the character, but it definitely carries the character's edge guarding, because even without Arsene, you still have this crazy good back air. Forward air is good too, but people just prefer back air. And yeah, no, like the things that Joker does are just ridiculous, and then you just give him Arsene. Like I was already winning neutral. Now I'm winning neutral. I'm going to throw you off stage and counter you. And even if you don't have a counterable recovery, I can spike you because I have one. I'm not going to say one of the fastest spikes in the game because I don't know his frame data like that. But I want to say Arsene is a pretty fast spike that is very powerful, by the way. But, today's thing, it sounds like I'm just glazing the fuck out of Joker when honestly, to me, I'm just speaking facts. Like, this is non-biased, 3 a.m., just me talking to myself. I'm not even trying to, like, meat ride Joker like that. I'm just stating the facts. Like, why is this character the only one S tier with a comeback factor, and he was already stupid powerful? I guess you could possibly say that they nerfed it. I think Dathan told me it lasted a minute at first, and you would hit him and the gauge wouldn't go down, the Rebels gauge. But they made it so that the more you hit him, the more it goes down. So I guess it was kind of nerfed, but it's still a really powerful thing that I get. Like again, I said it's not a comeback factor, but it is. He gets it faster if he's losing, but if he's not losing, he still gets it. Anyway, time for the second best, or maybe you could argue third. Maybe if you talk about one of these guys, um, second best in my opinion, Go Meter. So Terry doesn't gain. I will say he doesn't gain all the stuff that other things get. Like it isn't a one time use like a raise drive and KO punch. It's not a one time use thing. Um, it's not a thing you need to wait until the later part of the game for it to actually be useful. And it's not something that's going to disappear as soon as you use it. So I guess again I think I already said that it's a one time use. Um, Go Meter essentially is just Terry on the same thing he already has. He again like Joker has amazing frame data. He's really high up in the tier list. I think Terry personally deserves to be in this A neutral tier or just up here, to me. But he does have weaknesses that people do exploit. So, I don't blame them for putting him where they put him. But he has astounding frame data, good combos. He has really moves that kill stupid early. I will never forget when I'm there down airing people at like fucking 50 and they're exploding. That's insane. Um, but Go Meter just puts Terry on that, like the extra bit of strength that he needs. Which I was talking to T, like I said, if Dathan's watching this or Isani, whoever the fuck, y'all all know who T is. Um, if Terry had Go Meter off rip, he may have just been the best character in the game. Like, I'm sorry, Steve, but if Terry's Power Geyser just beats out Minecart, beats out Anvil, beats out Blocks, shit, it could probably even maybe be out PMOG. I don't know. I really don't want to know, to be honest. But again, if he had that off rip, you could tell me he was top 10 best character in the game, and I wouldn't even attempt to argue. Maybe even top 5. He is Buster Wolf is been impressing me more and more because at the time I'm recording this, I've actually been playing Smash a bit more than I would like because I did say I was a retired player. I did quit, and then I talked about like playing a tourney. I think one of the last couple times I talked to Dathan, I was like I should do one last tourney just for the hell of it or whatever. But I do think I should stop playing, or not stop playing, but at least heavily slow down playing. That's what it means when you quit a game, to either stop or heavily slow down on it. But anyway, I have been playing Smash more than what I did in the past. And today I will say I don't know his exact percent. I do know I was playing T before I went to work. And apparently, I don't know if he was at 50 or 60. I landed a down tilt jab jab Buster Wolf against Rob, a very heavy character in this game, and he died. Again, it was at the ledge, so I'm not going to glaze him too much. I feel like if Rob was literally anywhere else in the game, he wouldn't have died. I even asked T, I was like, were you holding out? Because there's no reason you should have died. He was like, nah, you're carried, lol. And, we were joking and stuff. But Buster Wolf's armor beats out projectiles. It does 30%. It does 6 on the initial hit and does 24 on the explosion part. And then Power Geyser being a 30 frame startup move that beats out just a lot of options, like it catches jumps. I don't know how many projectiles it clanks with or stuff, because I don't use the move a lot like that myself. And I've never just done Power Geyser and see if Samus Charge Shot goes through it or not. I think they just bypass each other, but I don't know. But, yeah, no, I think Terry definitely could be a better character if he had it a little bit earlier than 100. That's another thing I was going to talk about. Getting it at 100 is a little hard, but again, they gave Terry some beef or some buff to him. He's around the same way as Kazi. I know he's in the top 10 heaviest in the game, so he definitely has the survivability to live hits. He is just very susceptible to edge guarding. So I feel like while Go Meter is ridiculous, the character is so susceptible to edge guards that if you wanted to put it even down to here, I almost wouldn't argue, but I would argue. For me, I could see here, but this is more realistic. These two actually are kind of the same. He hits 100, and now he's really overpowered. His moves hit harder. He gains extra effects. Blah blah blah. Same thing, except Terry does that with DLC privilege. You know, he already has great frame data. He has very powerful hits. Now you give him a move that does 30, and you give him up tilt power geyser, and people can just explode at random percents because they weren't expecting it. So, yeah. But before I stop, sorry, I get tired. I wouldn't necessarily call this a comeback factor, but I was just thinking about this. Diamond, if Diamond for some reason was nominated or some reason put in as a comeback factor, it would be up here. I'm sorry, up here. Just because I have had games where I will lose the first two stocks. I get Diamond, and it snowballs super hard. Very, very hard. I have literally, like, your pit loops are more powerful. Your every single one of your aerials are more powerful. Like, Diamond, essentially, you're just a better Arsene. And, yeah, essentially, because you don't need a gauge to even fill it up. You need to set up walls or win neutral enough to the point where you can mine, get the diamond, and you can get diamond stock one. And if your opponent it just isn't ready for the Steve matchup, or they just have a character that matches up badly, or you just have better skill, I don't know, so many conditions. Um, if one of those conditions were to be met, your diamond could very easily snowball really hard into your opponent not only losing but just getting destroyed in general. You know, well, losing is getting destroyed. But yeah, no, just if for some reason you wanted to count that as a comeback factor, which again I don't think it is, because I think most Steves want to mine and get diamond every stock, which is kind of like go meter, but you don't need a certain percent. There's no conditions to be fulfilled except for the fact that you hold B long enough, which I personally wouldn't even call that a condition. You know, that's how the character's played. So you're gonna get it inside whether you want it or not. I will say all these other comeback factors can disappear. His can disappear when he dies, but his disappears with time. His can disappear depending on how much you use it. His is 15 seconds. I think someone has to die or he has to die, but he has to die for to lose diamond too. And then these guys are all the same. You know, he only loses his if he dies. He only loses his if he dies, and kind of same thing as KO punch. You just use it and you don't hit your opponent for some unknown reason. But yeah, I just want to talk about this. This is my personal opinion. You know, I can't wait to hear everybody else's opinion. If you guys have another reason or a character that has a comeback factor, let me know. The video I pulled up, this is all they had. I can't think of another character who has a comeback factor. They don't have any special gauges or gain anything at 100 or blah, 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 blah. But anyway, my throat's killing me. I'm going to call it there.